What is up, everybody? Welcome to today's stream where we have the full camera on. Oh yeah, you can see me in my gorgeous bath hair day. And we are here to discuss a really important topic, which is how do you move up from a teaching school to more of a research school? And why does this matter? Well, the reason it matters is that the job market is so bad that many people, including those of us with good research records, need to consider teaching schools. And this is especially important when you are geographically bound for some reason, because of family reasons or children or so on. You need to stay within a specific city or a specific country, right? So job market sucks. Job market is really bad. There are very small number of openings for the number of people applying, and so that means that many of us have had some time in their career to go to a teaching school, okay, and the big difference in a teaching school, there's a sort of like a theory difference and a practice difference. The theory difference is that teaching schools, they don't care about research. Okay? They don't care about research. The only reason they care about research is if there are some government requirements to publish. But other than that, they don't care. The practical issues with teaching schools is that, you have zero resources for research, zero money, zero people to talk to in general, and that you're teaching a lot, okay? So this happened to me. So actually, at one point in my career, I felt, I was victim of relatively unethical behavior in a major research school, business school, and I said, well, I'm going to make the same salary somewhere else, so I just went somewhere else, and I went to a teaching school, okay? And I was teaching up the wazoo. I mean, I don't know, I was teaching like every week of the academic year from September to late June. I was teaching 7 to 12 hours. It is insane. Okay? Now, so this happens. Okay? So this happens. You can end up in your career in a teaching school. Okay? And you want to move to a research school, maybe to have more time for research, but also to have more resources. Okay? Now, if you are in this situation, what should you do? Okay, what should you do if you are in this situation? Let's talk about targets and let's talk about process. For targets, you should only focus on ABS category 4-star journals, A journals, whatever name top journals in your field have. Okay, because this will signal that you belong in a higher level institution. Okay? And I understand that you need numbers, whatever, not for this. For this, you need to show everybody that you are in the wrong place and that the right place is with them in their school. Okay? My data from this is my own career, obviously, but also I'm director of research in my current employer, and I have interviewed 2 people that were on this situation, and we did hire one of them, and I had a favorable opinion of somebody else, but then obviously you have more applicants and so on. Okay, but we did hire somebody for USAC other than me, somebody recently who came from teaching school. Okay, so ABS 4-star A journals, top journals in your field. Not good journals, not category 4, not category 1. You need to be at the hyper top. At the hyper top. Okay? And ideally, you want to do so either as a single author or as the leading author in the paper. You know, and it needs to be convincing that you are the leading author in the paper. Okay? That's basically it. That's how you do it. Okay? So you drop everything else, you drop every single project except for the very top journals. Okay? What if you cannot get published in the very top journals? Well, then I would say, well, you know, the move will be difficult. That's way more difficult, that's for sure. And you need to ask yourself if this is a move that you want to make, because the pressure will be insane, okay? And obviously, I mean, you can make a little bit more money, but is it worth it? Okay, is it worth it to go into an insane level of pressure? And I don't mean that, you know, my current employer has insane level of pressure, far from it, but far from it if you are capable of publishing at the very top, okay? Because, you know, being capable of publishing at the very top is a proxy. It's an indicator for your level of skill and experience as a writer, and you know, that will also impact your ability to publish in category 4 ABS, or, you know, excellent but not very top journals, and that's, you know, how people are measured and so on. So you need to think about it. But if you can pull it off, then the sole focus of your research time should be to publish in top journals. And speaking from experience, you won't have time for anything else, because you are teaching a lot, really a lot, and you know, publishing in top journals is demanding, the reviews are demanding. Sometimes you'll have relatively short revise and resubmit periods, so that's what you need to focus on. Ideally, you should have the data to do that, but if you don't, that should be your key priority. Get category 1 star level of data. That's what you need to focus on. And obviously, if you don't have resources, category 1 star data typically comes from qualitative research. What I mean to say is that, to be very realistic, very blunt, it is far easier to publish in category 1 star journals if you're doing qualitative research than if you're doing quantitative research at a law school. Obviously, top journals publish much more quantitative papers, and it's much easier to publish quantitative papers and qualitative papers in top journals still. But you just will not have the data if you don't have money to get the quantitative data. And if you are in a teaching school, you won't get the money, okay? Now, the second thing that you need to do is you need to invest, and it really pains me to say this, but it's reality. You really need to invest in going to locally organized international conferences. And this is easiest if you're in Europe, okay? And if you're a senior scholar such as myself, and if you have organized a conference in the past, be mindful of this. But if you're in Europe, this is easier because you know, conferences tend to circulate around countries, so it's not super hard to like go to a conference every year. It will have to come out of your salary, but sometimes you can get scholarships or help. And some of these like national conferences are actually pretty cheap if you go to the national conference. And this is where you can also like get feedback and meet co-authors. So it is worth your time. But do not fall into the trap of trying to get a lot of papers. Do not fall into the trap of, you know, publishing category 1 or in the French list, ABS 4 in the ABS list. It's not good enough. You need to publish at the very highest level, okay? That is how you do it, okay? You drop everything in your pipeline and you publish at a higher level. before telling you why you should think twice about doing this, I will just tell you what happened with me, okay? So that you have a little bit of a reference there. So what happened with me is that I was basically pushing this MS Quarterly Neuroscience papers before joining ESEG while I was in this teaching school, and I had time for nothing else, like literally zero time for anything else. Now, having said that, I mean, I'm a father, and these were like the teenage years for my son. We're very close. I love my son, and being a father is the best thing that ever happened to me. So when I say I had time for nothing else, that's because, you know, my priority was my son, and will always be. But you know, I don't know. I really didn't have time for. I mean, even if I was single and childless, just the revisory submit work for another paper, I mean, it would be rough, right? So I had these two papers, and when I joined ESEG, I knew that my pipeline was completely dry. Like these two papers were accepted within 2 years of me joining ESEG. So basically, during my first year at ESEG, I worked at the bottom end of the pipeline. So I worked in ABS 2, CNRS, the French list 3 papers that I knew I could put out quickly. I had some data from master's thesis and so on. You know, and then I had like a couple of like scary years where I published zero, but now I have like an ongoing pipeline. So you also need to be ready for, you know, when you actually move, that you need to quickly focus on your pipeline, and actually you need to shift strategies to the very low end of the publication list so as to have something, because as you know, top journals have extremely long cycles for publication, whereas lower ranked journals have shorter cycles. Okay, so final point is, do you want to move to a research school? Okay, and ESEG is like great place where there's a lot of integration between research and teaching. So I'm actually not going to speak about ESEG because I think we're like a really unique place to be and a really great place to be. But I'll tell you about my previous job at Nova SPE, which is one of the top business schools in Europe, top in Portugal, versus my job at Europaea, which is a pure teaching school. And the difference between those is that was on the human experience of teaching. My human experience of teaching at Nova sucked because students were focused on grades. They saw themselves as superstars and you as a loser because you are not a manager or leader, you're just a teacher. Okay? So, that sucked. Then I went to Europaea, where lots of the students are first generation university students, and they really see this as an opportunity for social mobility. Most of them come from disadvantaged backgrounds, and I have to tell you that having those sort of students in the classroom, oh my God, it's you know, it's a balm to the soul. It's beautiful. They're generous, kindness, love, gratitude for what you are teaching them. You know, and I still follow a bunch of them on LinkedIn. You know, and the pride that you feel from like seeing them like break through that glass ceiling, I mean, it's just wonderful. So as a teaching experience, a teaching school, especially one that caters to first generation students and underprivileged students, I mean, it's just great. I'm also first generation. I also came from an underprivileged background. So it just meant so much. And so if teaching has a huge impact on your well-being and mental health, you know, those are very important for writing, think twice about moving up to a research school if you feel that you have the room and the opportunity to do the kind of research work that you want to do. Think twice. Because, I mean, sometimes when we're teaching school, we take the human quality of our students for granted. And believe you me, I mean, I thought in many places it is a rare gift, a very rare gift. So, very close friend of mine, also City University of New York, which was very similar. Also, many first generation underprivileged students also told me about how fulfilling it is to teach types of students. And obviously, I mean, you know, I have a very fulfilling time at IESEG teaching my students as well. But I mean, but I think that's because IESEG is a very particular type of research school where, you know, the integration between teaching and research is so tight that it creates a really positive self-reinforcement cycle. But just don't underestimate the impact of, a really rewarding teaching experience on your everyday life and even on your research outcomes. Okay, so that's it for today. Hope everything's going well, that you're getting down to writing. I have some news. I'm going to begin to do interview doctors. Around once every other week. So this will be on Thursdays. So our first one is the day after tomorrow, where I'm going to look at a real interview guide that somebody, one of the viewers has submitted, and we're going to discuss it live, okay? If you have an interview guide that, that you have questions about, that you need some feedback on, if you're a master's student, an undergraduate student, or somebody in a PhD or junior faculty, just feel free to send those, and I'll review them on the stream. Obviously, like keeping you anonymous, so that we all can learn. So we're going to do one on Thursday to see how we can improve. So it will be like an interview doctor, let's say. So I hope we'll have fun with that. Have a great day, and good luck with your writing, and I'll see you on Thursday. Bye, everybody.